For years, Apple's kept Control Center tightly locked down, but now they're finally opening it up, allowing you to customize it to suit your exact needs. This is the evolution of Control Center and how you can take advantage of the new customization features in iOS 18. When Apple first introduced Control Center in iOS 7, it was quite different from what we have today. Instead of swiping from the top right corner, you'd actually swipe from the bottom of the screen. The initial version offered a few basic controls, but it was nothing like the customization that we have now. In iOS 10, Apple tried to make Control Center better by splitting it up into two different pages. Unfortunately, this was not received well by us users. So quickly in iOS 11, Apple changed all of Control Center. If you had an iPhone 10 or newer, you could swipe down from the top right corner and the background would blur as the controls appeared. While you could add a few controls from a list in settings, there were no real customization options. If you added a control, it would put it in the Control Center, but then from there was no customization. You couldn't move it anywhere or do anything. This remained largely unchanged until Apple finally released iOS 18 with the iPhone 16s, making a complete redesign. Now, if you're on iOS 18, Control Center will look a little bit different. You still swipe down and the design is pretty similar, but they've brought back pages, which this time around, I do think they actually did pages the right way, and that's because if you prefer not to have multiple pages, you're now not forced to. Just enter jiggle mode by holding down anywhere without a control. Now, delete the ones you don't want until everything fits on one page. When you swipe down, you'll always start on the first page, the favorites page. On the right side, you'll see all your pages, each with icons representing the controls they contain. For example, your favorites page has a heart icon, and if you have a HomeKit page, it'll have a HomeKit icon. You can swipe up and down to navigate through your pages, but it's more convenient to just click on one of these icons to instantly switch to that page. Let's add a new page with some custom controls. Enter jiggle mode by holding down, and you can swipe all the way to the bottom or press the circle icon that pops up. Select Add Control, and you'll be presented with a variety of controls to choose from. Apple is finally letting third-party apps add their own controls to the Control Center. For instance, the Tesla app lets you add controls to quickly heat up your car, open the charge port, or a few other things. Once you've added your controls, you can resize and rearrange them to fit your preferences. You could do something like your more used controls are bigger and your less used controls are smaller. It's completely up to you, and that's why customization is so fantastic. Another useful feature in Control Center is the ability to add any shortcuts directly to it. For example, I have a shortcut for movie nights that turns off all my lights, lowers my home temperature, and turns on the TV. If you don't have any HomeKit devices, you could do something like create a custom low power mode 2.0 shortcut for when your battery's running really low. There's one last feature involving controls, but it's not in Control Center, it's actually on the lock screen. On your iPhone's lock screen, you can hold it down and edit it. Then click Customize and you can remove the camera icon from the bottom right corner. Finally, you can add different controls to the lock screen. I always thought the camera control on the lock screen was useless since you can just swipe over and get to the camera just as fast. Apple has significantly improved Control Center and made it a lot more customizable. If you want to learn how to take your iPhone to the next level, subscribe.